Welcome, you're watching the Thrift Store Rundown's Odyssey to the Oscars, where we bring the Academy Awards home on a budget. If I didn't wrap up my back-to-school spring break series earlier this month, trust me, I would add these two soundtracks to that list in that canon. Why? Because most kids dread taking piano and or violin lessons after school. Do we really need to know what arpeggios are? And it's my chin cramp after it's been sitting on the chin rest of a violin for far too long. All those notes, all those scales, all that time and effort. Ay. Yeah, can I just go out and get some soccer practice before I have to play either of these two dreaded instruments? Thanks, Mom. Okay, so maybe piano and or violin lessons are not the most fun lessons to take, but if you want to be a serious musician, like your parents are forcing you to, they really shouldn't force you to, but hey, I blame them. If you really want to be a serious musician, you need to understand how serious these instruments are, and you need to take your craftsmanship seriously. How's about I entice you with a little help from Michael Nyman or John Colligano, and in this case, Joshua Bell. For $1.49 a piece, I have two soundtracks in front of me. First up, the piano from the three-time Oscar-winning film. By the way, the Oscars did not nominate Michael Nyman for Best Original Score for the piano, and I'll explain why that's a fairly accurate omission a bit later once I get into it. I'm reviewing this first. Then I'll review the Red Violin, an Oscar-winning score here from John Colligano. This was purchased for 75% off, this 50% off. Michael Nyman is accompanied by the string musicians of the Munich Philharmonic Orchestra, and John Colligano and Joshua Bell are supported by the members of the London Philharmonia Orchestra, conducted by renowned conductor Esa-Pekka Salonen. The piano is up first, and as you'll see here, we already have an imperfection. Sorry, a pencil dropped as did a doctor's bookmark. I'll pick him up later. I have to say immediately, we have a crack here, and this album nearly put me to sleep. In listening out of context, you can't really connect the soundtrack to the film itself. But you're going to have to, because the piano is actually the voice of one of the main characters in the film, who is mostly mute for nearly the entire duration of the film. So the piano, played by Michael Nyman, becomes one of that character's voices. This is a full track listing with times to accompany it. This plays under an hour with 19 tracks total. Michael Nyman pulls double duty, performing the piano and conducting the strings of the Munich Philharmonic. These are his liner notes here. And you're also seeing black and white stills from the film. We have a crew listing here. By the way, his ensemble, contributes to certain tracks in the film. And Michael, you really didn't need a string orchestra. This film is called The Piano. Maybe you might have needed the Munich Philharmonic strings to heighten the drama and the tension in here, but I think there was kind of a cheap shot to have them around. That's not to knock the film's score here, but it's largely disconnected from the film's scenes. It was as if the score was composed way before Michael Nyman ever saw a cut of the film, and the film wasn't cut exactly to fit the score's cues and its beats, and well, you get it. This is not a terrible score, but it's definitely not lullaby music. That's something to say, considering that, again, it nearly put me to sleep for the hour that it took for me to listen to this. No playback issues, though. It did play smoothly, and it is a good score, if not great. We move on to the Red Violin here. 2000 winner for Best Original Score. And yes, there's an imperfection with this case too. You wanna see? Yep, it just comes completely off. That ain't good. But we have some liner notes here from the director, Francois Gerard, as well as some notes from John Collegato, but nothing from Joshua Bell. By the way, Samuel L. Jackson in a film like this? Yeah, what else can you hear about on Odyssey to the Oscars? And again, same deal with piano, black and white stills from the film. However, this album booklet differs. Why? Because you have liner notes here in French, and in German, and in Spanish. And you also have stills from the recording session at Abbey Road Studio 1 in London. I have to say, the Red Violin soundtrack here, if listened to out of context, plays more like a very tasteful horror film. I haven't seen either film, by the way, so apologies for my imperfections. Full track listing here. We have about 19 tracks and what we call a suite of all the themes in here. The Red Violin, a Ciccone for violin and orchestra, which really gives Joshua Bell and the Philharmonic Orchestra a complete walkout. We have a crew listing here on the back, and a full color still of the film on the back as well. So there's a lot to be said for both of these soundtracks. Let's score the piano first. Pun intended, even though that was a lame pun. 3.5 out of 5 claps. A good score, but one that nearly made me fall asleep. So, and it's not really connected to the film precisely. The Red Violin, 4 out of 5 claps. I would give it 3.5 because of this case, but it's connected more to the film than Michael Nyman's score for the piano is. So, John Collegato definitely won up Michael Nyman in this case. So you have, in total, 7.5 out of 10. And by the time this video is complete, you'll have more kids objecting to taking piano or violin lessons if they have sheet music from either of these two films to work with. But they really shouldn't, because they're still good soundtracks. Thanks for watching and listening. Tomorrow's another awesome day, so long as I catch you on the thrift side. Until then, stay golden. And keep practicing, kids. Practice makes, well, far from perfect, but we'll just say decent in this case.